Okay, we back in full effect. Yeah, how y'all doing, chat? I see y'all out there. You know, Big Chill. We know you don't need no introduction, but here we are with Chill with Chill. What's going on, Chill? How you feeling today?
Running good, man. Running good today, yo. We got some good news. We got some playoff picture talk. And we got to get to the bottom of what the league MVP is and what it should be. Okay. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get there. Get there. We could just start off with, the kind of what I think is the biggest news in basketball right now. This whole John Morant situation.
Yep.
We don't got to sit on it too long, but we can touch over it. Has there been any new developments with that, or?
Actually, it has, Big Ox. Actually, it has, Big Ox. Today we learned that turns out the charges against Ja, there are no charges, and he's not going to have to worry about that. And I think this is a good thing, but this could go two ways, right? And when I say it could go two ways, one of two things could happen. He could take this as a learning experience and start making better choices with the people he was hanging around. Because you and I just had this conversation yesterday. Right. I think the biggest problem that he's having right now is his circle, how big his circle is, and the kind of people that he has, one, advising him, two, hanging around him, and two, he's listening to on a circular level, right? So with him doing that, I think that's affecting him the wrong way. Or the other thing is he could look at this and think, yo, I'm untouchable. I can do whatever I want, which is now how Memphis has to handle this, is the key to this, because Memphis can't bring him right back.
Right.
Because if Memphis brings him right back, that attitude will permeate that, yo, I can just do whatever I want out here. We don't know exactly how the charges got dropped. Was there a fall guy? Did they just go away from him? Are they put on somebody else? All we know is that the charges got dropped. And I think the most important part here was him doing his part. So his people, the people that he pays to ensure his safety, the lawyers, advised him, my man, be quiet. Let us handle this. This is what we don't want to do. We don't want you out here explaining yourself, because then people are going to start talking to you and saying different things to you, and they're going to end up tripping you up, and you're going to end up saying something. You're going to end up saying something that you're going to regret. So this is what you do. Step to the side. This is what you pay us for. Let us handle this. And that's what he did, which was smart on his part, right?
I mean, you got the right to remain silent. You better use it.
Yes, sir. Which was smart on his part. So now the most important part here is managing him the best way that they know how. Checking out that circle that you hanging with. Get with his father, right? See how this dude is moving. This Memphis team has clearly been affected by this. I mean, I watched them play yesterday, and they didn't look good at all. They did not look good at all against that Laker team. And he's a big piece to what they're trying to do. Yeah. He's a huge piece to what they're trying to do. So I think him staying away from the crew for now. I think I think it's a good thing for them and for him, because he can get his priorities straight. He can get his inner circle straight, and he can get his mind right.
Right. Chill, remember last week, right before we got off, I asked you, I said the last 20 games of the season, give or take a couple games, last 20 games of the season, what teams you see elevating and what teams you see slipping? So your answer on the West Coast, you actually said in the Western Conference that the Warriors, you believe they can actually give us and Phoenix a run for that third spot. We've moved to the second, but I did agree with you with the Warriors. But then you said Dallas is the team that you could see ending up in that play-in tournament.
Yep.
Does this change at all with the Grizzlies situation? Do you think they can hang in there, or do you think they slip? Do they now slip and end up in that play-in tournament? Because the Suns are only 2.5 games behind us and the Grizzlies. And then the Mavericks are the Warriors are 5 games behind, I believe. So with 17 games left now?
Right.
Is it possible that they could end up being that team that slips into the play-in?
Well, what has to happen with Memphis is a total collapse if they end up in the play-in tournament. I mean, I think we got a month left in the regular season, like 17 games or something like that, and a month left in the regular season. And Memphis has to have a total collapse. which isn't ridiculous, Big Ox, because again, they got this nonsense going on with Ja. They haven't been playing well. They didn't play well yesterday. But adding Luke Kennard to their roster, which I thought would be good, has worked out because they've become a better jump shooting team, which makes them a better offensive team, particularly in transition. But without having Ja on the floor, I mean, whenever you have your leading scorer, right? Your leading scorer, your best playmaker, whenever you have that on the floor, that energy, when that's off the floor, that's a different dynamic that you can't replace. Like I could replace a guy, I could replace a rotation guy. I might not get the same thing from that rotation, the other rotation guy, but I can get some of what I replaced him with. Yo, Ox, I can't replace 28, 29 a game with a bunch of other guys. I can't do that. So Memphis at this particular time, I'm looking at who they are right now, and I still think that they could hold on and stay out of the play-in tournament. But I do think that it's going to be difficult considering, what they got coming up and how these other teams are coming up. Like Phoenix looks like they're getting it together. Don't get me wrong. The Warriors lost last night and they have their problems. That Draymond Green situation between him and Jordan Poole. You can't have guys quitting in the middle of plays. That's unacceptable. And he needs to take accountability for that. But with that being said, it's so bunched up, right? From when you're looking at from 4 to I don't know, to 9. I think it's only separated by 4 games.
Yeah, might be 3, might be 3.5.
Yeah, so I think it's 3.5, like 4 games, something like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Memphis handles themselves. I still think that Golden State is trending upward. I think that the Lakers are trending upward too, Big Ox.
It looks like it.
I do. I think that the Lakers are trending upward.
I definitely want to get to the Lakers. Let me stay with the Grizzlies for just a second.
Yeah.
So Tyus Jones, that playing that backup point guard position. I believe when he starts, he averages is it 19-8 or 19-9 when he starts.
Right.
I think Tyus is the type of point guard that their ceiling isn't as high with him as it is with Ja, but I do believe that their floor is higher. Whereas I don't see them slipping like obviously Ja's a better player, but Ja will make more mistakes than Tyus at that point guard. I think Tyus is a more solid point guard. Can they actually surprise folks and maybe get into the second round, be a tough out? I don't know. I'm not ready to throw the Grizzlies away.
Well, one of the biggest mistakes Minnesota made was letting Tyus Jones walk. There was a conversation where he was in the conversation as the best backup lead guard in the game, right? So you look at guys like Malcolm Brogdon, you look at guys like Russell Westbrook, who were awesome, but Tyus Jones, he gives them something completely different. He speeds the game up. Not only does he speed the game up, when the game slows down, he's a floor spreader. He's that kind of guy that gives them a different dynamic that other backup lead guards don't give them. So with him on the floor, they don't have much of a drop-off. Right? Now, it's different, Big Ox, when you are a starter, right? Because I got to play starter minutes. And in the process of me playing starter minutes, I got more responsibility. There's a reason why I'm a backup. I'm a backup because I'm not as good as the first guy I'm not as good as the guy on the first unit. I don't do what he does. But putting more responsibility on him, I don't think that would be that much of a detriment. I think he can handle it. And I'm not out on Memphis. I think that they could go this way, but I don't think that they just completely fall out. No, I don't think that.
Right. That's a fact. Let me. We got a couple of super chats. We might as well start getting to them.
Yeah. What we got?
Chad. Just like I told you guys at the end of last show, we do have a couple of things we want to talk about, but it's y'all show today. Y'all send through the super chats, and we'll get to that. Whatever y'all want to talk about.
We will. Let's do it.
That's what we'll do today. Starting it off with my guy Alex Pickering. Thoughts on what Gilbert Arenas said regarding Ja?
He said it. I heard a little bit of it, Ox, and I think that he mentioned something to the effect that it brought back a lot of memories of what he was doing, and I think it's a little bit different. I think it's a little bit different because number one, Gil was in a situation where he was a lot older, and he was more seasoned as a vet. I mean, what are we in with Ja? I think Ja's in year 4. Yeah, I think Ja's
whatever Zion is. Yeah.
I think Ja's in year 4, and he wasn't as seasoned as Gil was. And not only was he not as seasoned, he also isn't I mean, I think Gilbert Arenas was a little bit more mature as a player than Ja was. So for him to look at Ja like his situation, similar to his situation, I can appreciate it, but I do think that it's a little bit different, just a little bit.
Chill. I don't know, and maybe for the people in the chat that don't know, can you kind of fill us in if you know what he said? I missed it.
Well, Gil said something to the effect that I see a lot of myself in Ja, and he said that to the effect that not just with the gun charge, but how Ja was moving and how he was acting. He see a lot of himself in Ja. Now, that's a younger Ja, and it suggests to me that I don't want you to end up the way I did, because I mean, if you can remember, Big Ox, I mean, Gil was 25-5 for 5 years. He was one of the best guards in the league.
Crazy.
And that incident basically wrecked him.
Yeah.
He never recovered. He never recovered from that. So I think he sees a lot of himself in Ja, which I mean, he did allude to that. He sees a lot of himself in Ja. And because he sees a lot of himself in Ja, he kind of doesn't want him to go down that road.
Yeah. Let me get to this one. Rella, RH3LA, is Austin Reaves getting overlooked?
Overlooked how? I mean, Austin Reaves he's a good, as a starter, he's a good player, but when you say overlooked, I know what his importance is to the Lakers. He's a guy who stretches the D. He's a guy who does defend. He's going to give you effort, and he's necessary on that crew. But he also needs those other guys, those other playmakers, in order for his game to flourish. I mean, he looked good yesterday with the basketball.
Played a hell of a game last night.
Yeah, he looked really good.
Really impressed.
Yeah, he looked really good with the basketball.
Yeah.
Austin Reaves is not a guy. Austin Reaves is not a guy who can just play without the basketball. No, he can play with the ball too. He definitely is one of those guys with that, and he's a better transition player than I thought too, Big Ox. But with that being said, I don't think he's being overlooked. I think he's playing his role really well.
Yeah, I didn't know he was this strong. When he's going to the rim, he's strong with that ball. He one
of the bigger guards too, Big. I think he's like 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". He's a big guard.
I liked him a lot at Oklahoma. I wasn't sure. I didn't think he was going to stick in the NBA, but I think he'll stick around for a while.
Well, it's crazy that you mentioned that, Ox, because when you look at guys like Austin Reaves, you got to make sure. You mentioned this about Draymond. If you get in the right system and you get with the right people, your game looks different. Like if he's in San Antonio, if he's in Charlotte, is he going to stick? If he's in Chicago, he might be out the league in 2 years.
Right.
But he looks different with James, right? He looks different on that crew with Anthony Davis. So I think that's important to know.
Yeah, that's definitely. C.A. Broski with the super sticker. Appreciate you, my God. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Romario Grant. How do you feel about Chael Sonnen saying him and LeBron have the same dealer?
Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, he was. I believe he was. He's a ex-UFC guy.
They got the same dealer.
Yeah, I guess they're saying that Bron's on those
on the juice
performance enhancers. Yeah.
Yo, everybody in professional sports is using some sort of pick me up in order to maintain. Now, we're not going to talk about James juicing like Jose Canseco, right? Yeah. Or a football player, but I can take supplements in order to keep my body correct. Right? I can take supplements in order to keep my body correct. I can take supplements in order to help me continue to be what I am. Now, I think it's a different age, just because, James isn't smoking cigars and drinking whiskey like Jordan was, right? Because he's not doing that, that doesn't mean that if he's taking supplements that aren't illegal, that this is a bad thing. I don't think that this is a problem. To be honest with you, Big Ox, it doesn't bother me at all, because I know that there's plenty of dudes doing it. As long as it's on the legit side, then I have no problem with it. But if it's something that you're doing to get an advantage and it's illegal, then we got a completely different issue.
I agree. This is a carryover from this morning show. I don't know if you've seen any part of that.
I didn't see it.
But yeah, we got into a little debate, and so my man Sports PSP, who was actually present at the moment, he has a
dig him.
question
That's my
for
man,
you.
by the way.
Yeah, he makes some really solid videos. I like his content. He says, "Chill, 1-on-1, KG or Giannis."
Well, first of all, Big Ox, just so you know, a lot of people don't give KG enough credit for his 1-on-1 game. KG was a really good 1-on-1 player, not just on the box, neither. KG was on the perimeter. He could handle it. He had a money mid-range game, right? He had a nice handle for a guy his size. He could get to the basket on anybody, especially big guys his size. He was really good at that. Giannis was a better athlete. So with Giannis being a better athlete, that might give him an edge. But on the flip side to that, KG was an elite defender. So I think that with KG being the defender that he was, I think that he would give him a lot of trouble. I think he would give Giannis a lot of trouble. I think Giannis could get him though.
You think so?
I think Giannis could get him.
Okay, I went with KG, but I'm never mad at the Giannis take. So actually, what we're going to get into as far as the playoff picture here. So I saved my man Christopher D. I saved up his super chats just for this. So I'm gonna read one and then go to the other. We'll cover those and get into it. Let me see. We'll go with this one first. He says, Christopher D says, if the Lakers miss the playoffs, does this hurt his legacy? Are they talking about Bron or maybe their legacy? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Then he followed that up with, who's more likely to fall out of the playoffs? Clippers, Grizzlies, Warriors, Nets. Let's cover that first one first.
So the first one, to be honest with you, Christopher, I think that we're in a space where he's in year 20. If you haven't made up your mind about who this dude is by now, I mean, you never will. No doubt about that. He's doing something individually that nobody at his age has ever done. So the fact that they don't make the playoffs, his best player in Anthony Davis, last year he missed half the season, and then this year he missed, I think, 20 games or something like that because of an injury, 25 games because of an injury. So stuff like that matters, right? Stuff like that matters. I don't think that this hurts his legacy because I already got my mind made up about who he is, right? But it's this other part about who's more likely to fall out the playoffs, and we're going to cover this, but I think the Clippers, and the reason why I say the Clippers is because if you look at the standings right now, if I'm not mistaken, I gotta make sure that I get this correct. I don't want to get this wrong, Big Ox. But if you look at the standings right now, the Clippers are in the 8th spot. So they would have to see, and we'll talk about this, but they could very well be in the play-in tournament. They would have to see they could very well see the Lakers to get in the playoffs, and not to get past them to get to another space. So the way the play-in tournament works,
right?
7 plays 8, and the 7-8 winner gets the 7th spot, right?
7-8 gets the 7 and 8 plays the winner of 9 and 10.
8 plays the winner of 9 and 10, which means that the Lakers with the 9 spot, they got the Pels. If they could beat the Pels, and let's say Minnesota beats the Clippers, that means that the Lakers and the Clippers would play for that last playoff spot. So that could be a problem for the Clippers. Yeah. That could very well be a problem for the Clippers. Now, if you look on the other side of that, I mean, the Clippers have owned the Lakers as of late. I think the last time the Lakers beat them was the year they won the NBA championship, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It is. I mean, if the Clippers, as it stands, the Clippers will be playing the Timberwolves. I like them to beat the Timberwolves in that first game, so they don't really have to worry about the Lakers. But hey, you never know. Anything can happen.
You don't.
That playing game really shakes things up.
I think the Nets can hold on. I do.
Yeah,
I think the Nets can hold on.
So let's get into the playoff picture a little bit. We spoke a lot. We've already touched down out west a lot.
Yeah.
The East. I'm pulling it up right now. So let me see what the Eastern Conference looks like.
Yep.
Do you see any of these things? Because he said the Nets too. The Nets are the 6th seed. Do you like the Nets to hold out and stay in the playoffs?
Well, again, I think the Nets are, as of right now, I think they got 17 games left, 16 games left. Yeah, 17 games left. And they're trending upward. I think they've won their last 3 games. So they rolling right now, considering that they lost. But before they came back and beat Boston, which I'm bugging out over that. Ox, it was up almost 30, B. How you gonna be up almost 30 and lose?
I can't explain that.
Yeah, come on, man. That still doesn't make much sense to me. That's just a complete letdown. Yeah. But they would also have to have, because for them to fall out, I mean, I think they're 7 games or something like that ahead of Chicago. I'm sorry, I think they 7 or 8 games ahead of Chicago. With that being said, the play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's I think it's Atlanta, Miami,
Atlanta,
Toronto, and Washington, right? I think it's those 4 teams. So I think that Atlanta gets Washington. I'm sorry. I think that Miami beats Atlanta. I think that they beat them. And Toronto and Washington, I think that Washington could beat them because Porzingis has been playing really good. Right. Toronto, on the other hand, has also been trending the other way. They've been looking good. So I think that that's a push game. But I think that Toronto can beat them. Now, if Toronto were to end up beating Washington, I think Atlanta's going to have trouble with Toronto. And I think Toronto could beat them. And the reason why I think Toronto could beat them is because defensively, I think they outmatch Atlanta. Yeah. Offensively, I mean, Fred VanVleet, I think you're kind of losing a lot with him against Trey. But Trey could shoot you out of a game. He could very well do that. Right? Well. He could very well shoot you out of a game. I think that in terms of coaching, I don't think that Quinn Snyder would get out coached by Nick Nurse. I think that Toronto's rotation players, I think they're on par with Atlanta. I think that they could get Atlanta. But now when you get to the playoff picture, Big Ox, right? When you get to the playoff picture and you look at now with Miami with the 7th seed and let's say Toronto ends up with the 8th seed, right? That means that Toronto got to see Milwaukee in round 1. I think that Milwaukee handles them. Yeah. I think Milwaukee handles them coming into the playoffs. I think that's a 5-game series. I think the Giannis is too much. I think their rotation is too much. Now, when it comes, I know this sounds crazy. When it comes to Boston and Miami, that is not a cakewalk for Boston.
No, it never is.
That is not a cakewalk.
Jason Tatum hates playing Jimmy Butler. That's one thing.
Oh, man, that is not a cakewalk for Boston. And that could be a 7-game series, Big Ox.
It could. Real quick, chill. Hey, y'all in the chat keep asking for the link. Y'all get the likes up. We'll get the link, y'all. Get the likes up. We're gonna run through these super chats and then we'll get that link out there. Get the likes up, y'all.
Yep, absolutely. Back to my point about Boston and Miami, that could be a 7-game series. And I think the difference with that, I mean, Robert Williams, he's got to be more consistent with his health. Yeah, I think Boston got a better team, but Jason Tatum, and you know how I feel about Jason Tatum, Big Ox. This is a dude who could shoot you out of me. I watched them play the other night. They played against the Knicks. Yo, he shot 17 threes.
Well, I thought it was 18. I couldn't believe that.
17 threes. That's coaching. I don't think that has anything to do with Jason Tatum more than it does coaching. There's no way that your coach is letting you fire up 17 threes unless you got it going. And he did not have it going. He had a stretch where he went 1 for 8 or 2 for 9, one of those. And now I got to pull him to the side or even maybe put him on the bench and talk to him. My man, we got to get something else. And the reason why I say that, Big Ox, because he didn't have anything outside of 7 feet. Everything was either at the long ball line or 7 feet and in. Nothing in between. So he wasn't really putting any pressure on the defense. He was basically bailing them out. Marcus Smart was the same way. Yo, they shot 59 threes. If you think that you're going to beat anybody shooting like that, that's not going to happen. So then you got Philadelphia and Brooklyn. In round 1. I think that they handle Brooklyn. And I know how you feel about Joel Embiid, Big Ox, but I still think that this team is going to go as far as he takes them. As good as Tobias Harris is, James Harden has been playing as one of the best league guards in the game. But I think that they go as far as Joel Embiid takes them. And he should dominate this team. He should dominate Nick Claxton. And they should run that off. They could run that offense through him, and he should dominate them. The problem I'm having, though, And I watched this last night, and I was thinking about you, Big Ox. That dude has 7 rebounds last night, man.
Gotta get on that glass.
7 rebounds. That is unacceptable for a big like him. Unacceptable.
He's stronger than everybody, bigger than everybody. He's
7 rebounds. That's just unacceptable. And then you got the Knicks and the Cavs. I think that's a dogfight, yo. I think that's a dogfight 7-game series, to be honest with you.
I got the Cavs, though. I do have the Cavs.
I do. And I think the Cavs front line is going to be the difference in that series. The reason why I say that is Evan Mobley, as good as Julius Randle has been playing and bullying guys, I don't think he could do that with Evan Mobley. I think they got a better rim protector in Jared Allen, right? I think they got a better rim protector in Jared Allen. I think the guard play is even. I don't think that Jalen Brunson is that much better as a lead guard than Darius Garland. I don't think so. And then when I look at RJ Barrett and Donovan Mitchell's game improves in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Julius Randle, on the other hand, his game went the other way. And I think that's going to be the difference also. If Julius Randle can play better, I think we're going to have a dogfight series.
I think Julius gets caught up in that, trying to prove that he can do something, and he forces a lot. He forces a whole lot.
He does. Yes, he does.
Actually, let me see. We'll go back to my man Christopher D real quick.
Yep.
Christopher D says, Colorado police closing the investigation on John Morant. Think he comes back sooner than later to maybe make a legit playoff run?
No, I think the best thing for him right now is to stay away from the crew. Like, for him to come right back, I think that would be a detriment to the crew, because it's going to essentially just give the attitude that, yo, I'm untouchable. I can do whatever I want. And that energy is just going to seep right back into the crew. There's no reason for him not to continue to act the way he's acting. I think him staying away from the crew, I think that's the best thing, not just for him, but for the crew too.
Yeah, I could agree with that for sure. Let's see here. From Quiet Hype Media, who you taking, Clyde Drexler or Jimmy Butler, and why?
Drex was a better one-on-one player. He was a better transition player. He was a better defender. A lot of people say, well, Jimmy Butler was an all-league defender. Did you know that Clyde Drexler is the only player in NBA history that's in the top 10 all-time in steals, and he never made the all-league defensive team? Not one time.
That's crazy.
Not one time did he make the all-league defensive team. Not only that, Portland invented the hustle board, and he was instrumental in that, leading the league. And they didn't track that during that time, but leading the league in deflections, stuff like that. So he was a better one-on-one player than Jimmy Butler. I think he was a better defender than Jimmy Butler. I think he was a better transition player than Jimmy Butler. I think he was more versatile as a guard than Jimmy Butler. Just so you know, when Clyde Drexler made the All-Star team, the first time he made the All-Star team, he made the All-Star team as a point guard. Right. This is why a lot of people said that the Trailblazers should have taken Jordan and put Jordan at the 2 and left Drex at the 1, because that's what he was doing. They ended up drafting Terry Porter, and you saw how that worked out. And just like Jimmy Butler, Drex ends up taking his crew to the NBA Finals twice. Right. And he didn't, and at no point did he have a player. I mean, as good as Buck Williams was, I don't think Buck Williams was as good as, I don't think he was the scorer that Bam was, or maybe he was, and he just took a back seat. He was Buck Williams was an 18 and 10 guy, and he ended up reducing his role because of that. But I think Drex is better than Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, okay, I could get with that. So, Deshaun 916, Kings versus Knicks prediction. They play tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, I believe. What's your take on that, Chill?
I like the Knicks coming out to the West Coast, man. I don't think that they've been that good out on the West Coast, but this Kings team, they're trending upward as well. And is De'Aaron Fox, is he still out of the lineup, or was that just one game that he was out of the lineup?
Maybe that was 2 games. I'm not sure if he'll be back tomorrow or not.
Right. So I mean, if he's in the lineup, I like them against the Knicks. As good as the Knicks have been playing, I like the Kings, man. And the reason why I like the Kings because how balanced they are, right? The Kings got a balanced squad. So at the lead guard spot, not just at the lead guard spot, but at the 2, Sabonis, as good as Sabonis is, you already know how I feel about Herter, and I think that they stole him, right? I think y'all stole him. Malik Monk also one of the better rotation guards in the game. So I think that they handle the Knicks.
Sacramento gonna mop the floor with the damn Knicks.
Easy, Leaf. Take it easy,
mop
Leaf.
the floor with the damn Knicks. Man.
Just like the Knicks mopped the floor with y'all when they saw y'all.
Not
just
today.
like they mopped the floor when they saw y'all.
Oh, that's what you want to take.
You started it. You started it.
I did started it. Now I'm gonna take it. You started it. Need to be. How many times I told you about these Boston Celtics? How many times I told you about them? They're gonna go to a place where they tried to go. Remember last year in January, they was 21-20 when Barrett hit that game winner over them. You remember that?
Yep, I do remember that.
And now they reverting back to their old ways where they go play iso ball. You asked me the other day, who is their closer? The problem is they trying to find their closer when they need to execute. They need to execute plays down the stretch. They need to execute mismatches down the stretch. That's their problem. 2, the Philly situation, bro, is all about not just Embiid's health, but Embiid's durability.
Right.
Embiid's durability, because you already know he could bruise for the first half of the game. Look how he played. First half of the game, he elbowing, he bruising, all of that. Then the second half, he gassed out. Why? Because why?
Wouldn't those two things be the same thing though?
What you mean?
Durability and health, aren't those two things the same thing?
Yeah, they're the same thing.
Somewhat of the same thing, but if he's still on the court, the health ain't an issue. The health is when he's out completely.
No,
that's what that is. That's what I'm at least referring to.
No, that's not how that works. That's not
how it works, P5. Tell me.
When James Harden, when James Harden played in Game 7, was he healthy against the Bucks? Was he healthy?
No, he wasn't. He was hurt.
Which means he wasn't healthy.
But he was out there though.
That's just not
out there though. But he was hurt,
and he wasn't healthy. He wasn't healthy. So no, that's not the same thing.
All right, whatever way you want to spin it.
Big fan, Brizzy. What's up, boy?
I'm just.
Yeah, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all know I love the show, man. Shout out to Ox for being a Kings fan. Y'all finally going to the playoffs. Y'all the 2nd seed in the West. But to chill. Listen, man. I seen you said that right now we would face Philly, but I'm not convinced that we go into the playoffs the 6th seed. I got us climbing that ladder just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Wait, who?
Yeah.
Right? Who?
Brooklyn. Brooklyn going up.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. I think because we came back and beat Boston, it built our momentum, our confidence, and we're able to stay as a group, look around and say, yo, we could win together. And also feel like, KD and Kyrie not here. We beat Boston without KD and Kyrie. We lost to Boston since KD and Kyrie got here. So, I'm looking at the upside for the Nets, and I think we compete. I think Jacque Vaughn has a no excuse mindset as a coach. That's his style. Yep. And he speaks about it in the post game. And to further my point, I feel like the pressure of the Brooklyn Nets being a championship or bust team is off every player, even off Sean Marks. They even said, Sean Marks about to get the extension today.
Right.
So because we don't have the pressure on us to win now, I think it makes us one of the more dangerous teams going into the playoffs. But which I guess
basically playing with house money. Wow. So
you said that too. Chill. You said that like last episode too. Yeah, you did say that. You playing with house money. That's a fact.
Right.
You did say that, man. I don't really give a damn who we play, bro. I'll be honest with you.
Hey, but can we agree that the Nets aren't going anywhere in the playoffs? Like they're
hell no. Hell no!
No.
Right now. Hell no!
What?
Sports. P5. You said the Knicks or the Nets?
The Nets.
Nah, I debate that. I mean, I ain't gonna do it here. I'm trying to chill with chill, but nah, bro. Hell no.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna get too much into that. I wanted to ask Chill because I'm young. I like to learn more about the game.
That's what the show's all about. Chill with Chill.
Yeah, and this has nothing to do with the playoffs. But Chill, I have a question since you did watch. I asked this a lot and no one answers my question. How did the triangle offense work? Because I keep hearing it and it's getting brought up in a lot of debates. But how did it work? Because I'm not gonna lie and say I watched back all these Kobe games and these MJ games where they ran the triangle offense, but how did it work? Like, what was the Tell me the play. How would it work?
The triangle offense was comprised of the offense running through the big guy. The big guy was the apex of the triangle. That's the way it was original. That's the way it was originally designed for. So when Jordan showed up, when Tex Winter showed up, his idea was to move the basketball and that one guy. So if I give you the basketball, we're working off of you. And we're not just going to stand around. There's a number of different avenues that we can go once you get the ball or once I get the ball. There's no standing around and there's no watching. Kind of similar to what the Warriors do, where it's like 2 dribbles get off the basketball and it's a lot of action off the basketball. So if you got the ball on the right side, you got the ball on the right corner, then I got 2 guys operating, and then I got another 2 guys operating differently. Like we're not just cutting. Well, not all 4 of us are cutting to the basket. You might cut to the top. You might cut to the mid post. You might cut to the box. I might cut to the 3-point line. But it's not chaos, right? It's not chaos. It's controlled. Yeah. So the way that the triangle worked, when you got Shaq, now we got guys playing off of Shaq. So Shaq could either go to the basket, where you got Bryant Shaw playing off Shaq. You got Bryant playing off Shaq, right? You got Robert Horry playing off of him, and all of these guys. They're causing a lot of misdirection with the defense. And because they're causing a lot of misdirection with the defense, and Shaq being the player that Shaq is, and the attention that he's causing, it's going to cause a lot of open shots for those guys.
So I'm going to try to just stay how I understand. So it's one player. So it's one player, you're playing off of them, right? You're playing off your best player.
Mm-hmm. Not your best player, not necessarily
not
your
best player, but your ball dominant player, right?
Not necessarily. That's the good thing about the triangle. There is no ball dominant player.
So just whoever has the ball.
Yes, whoever. That's who we're playing off of. So if Jordan got the ball,
and there's constant player movement, like there's always. Okay, I get it.
Constant action. Nobody's standing around watching. Nobody's. The thing with Jordan or with Bryant, that's why the offense got a little stagnant, because they would hold on to the basketball. Yeah. And that's not difficult to defend when you got one guy holding on to the ball. When you got a lot of guys moving, you got a lot of action, the triangle offense was cutting edge.
Is that kind of why okay, because I know Phil Jackson, I don't know if the Knicks ever used it, but is that kind of why it didn't work in New York? If they did use it because of Carmelo, or was it just outdated at that point?
It wasn't necessarily outdated. The problem was Carmelo Anthony didn't get it. Not only did he not get it,
or did he just not buy into it?
Right, both of those. Because he didn't get it, he didn't buy into it. Same thing happened with the Lakers in 2004 when they had Karl Malone and they had Gary Payton. Well, Gary Payton didn't get it. Karl Malone got it. The rest of those guys, but Gary Payton, he just didn't. He couldn't get with the triangle offense, and it was becoming outdated with the Knicks. When Phil Jackson got there, it was becoming outdated, but they kind of got accelerated because Carmelo Anthony, he didn't get it. And because he didn't get it, he didn't buy into it. And now people started to look more at it. Plus, the league was trending toward being more one-on-one. The scoring was going up. So the triangle offense was becoming more outdated.
Okay. I understand now. Okay.
And to add to that, I think teams became a little bit more versatile. And when you playing against teams that's could add more layers as opposed to like the 90s where they had to play man to man, the zone era, even though Shaq did dominate like the end of the three-peat, I think the era of the zone defenses and everything going forward, and as Chill touched on, like the one in the three-point era, the more scoring one-on-one era, and a more pick and roll ball, but playing a little bit more faster. Nobody really wanted to slow down like that because the post shot was deemed an inefficient shot. The post play was deemed an inefficient shot. So that's just to add to that.
Someone in Tyson saying in the chat that the end of the triangle was that there was no illegal defense.
Yeah. Getting to that factor actually, because the zone defenses, as I touched on, it wasn't no illegal defense anymore. Well, I guess you could say verbatim, it still is illegal defense, but they added the zone. They added the zone defenses, even though Shaq dominated in 2002, the tail end of that three-peat.
Right.
Because nobody couldn't stop him anyway.
Right.
I mean, but it hasn't been any force like that to make the triangle work.
Yeah.
And,
so there was illegal defense,
it was illegal defense.
Illegal defense. It was modified. That's all. So now when you got a guy, one-on-one on the wing, and now nobody could really cover. Like I couldn't sag over. If my man is in the corner, I couldn't stand in the middle of the lane. Right. I had to be on the other box. So now with the way the defense is, you have to be close to your man within arm's reach of him. Otherwise, it's illegal. It's 3 seconds. So there's still a legal defense. It just wasn't what it was back then.
Yeah. Right.
Well, fellas, I do got to keep it moving. So I appreciate y'all for jumping up. I got to keep it moving, Leaf. You got
Leaf, be easy, B.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit your block. I'm gonna hit your block soon.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some W questions. Real quick, y'all, I do got to give a shout out to our GOAT member, King J.
Yeah.
If you want to become a member of the Players Choice channel, y'all make sure to click that join button. Shout out King J. We see you.
Right.
This is a super chat day. Like I said, the chat kind of runs the topic. So let's get back to a couple of those.
What we got?
Right now we got Angie Carr tapping in, saying, chill. What's your thoughts on the bubble? People have been giving it stuff.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, aside from the injury, it was pure basketball, no distractions, home courts, straight basketball.
I still think it was one of, if not the most difficult championship run ever. And the reason why I feel like that is because to be isolated completely from people, to go from it was basically going from one extreme to the next. So players have a routine, like whether I'm on the road, whether I'm at home, I got people at my house, I got my family that I'm around, I got a game day routine, whether you're on the road. So we're doing none of that. In fact, we're isolated from everybody. And the only place that we go is from the hotel to the gym. Now, that might work for a week, because you're in basketball camp and you're excited. But the championship teams, the Miami Heat, the Los Angeles Lakers, Denver, right? These teams, they were there for 3 months. Those other teams, they weren't there that long, right? They weren't there nearly as long. And mentally, it could take a toll on you. Now, I hear a lot of people saying stuff like, well, when you play on the road, it's a lot different as opposed to playing at home. Big Ox, I still stand on the logic. I will go to my grave. If you better than me, you should be able to whoop me anywhere. Don't make a difference where we at. I don't care where we at. If you better than me, you should be able to whoop me. Jordan taught me that. James taught me that. Bryant taught me that. Shaq taught me that. Olajuwon taught me that. It doesn't make a difference where we are. I'll whoop you anywhere. So the fact that the bubble was what it was, I hear a lot of people saying stuff like, well, it was easy. Well, if it was easy, then how come everybody didn't thrive in it then? Why was it just easy for the Lakers? And if it was easy for the Lakers, why didn't they just destroy everybody? Oh, wait a minute, they did. Maybe they were just better than them.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, and I kind of, I hate the narrative that just because there was no fans there, it made it to where the lesser players were able to finally show up. I feel like if you could ball when the lights are off, you should be able to ball when the lights are on.
Don't make a difference, right?
In fact, the real hoopers, they play even better when the lights are on. So
right.
Alex Pickering tapped back in. He said Nino punked out. I don't see him in the chat. That's our boy from last night on the panel. Remember, he was talking crazy in the chat. I invited him up. I invited him at least 3 times.
Yeah,
he would not accept my invitation.
You know what it is, man. People get to talking. So
yeah, that's wild. But Nino, if you out there, feel free to come on. Christopher D tap back in. The Spurs and Rockets are the first 2 teams out the playoffs. Which franchise taking more games?
Well, it doesn't make a difference, Christopher, because each of them have an equal shot at getting the first overall pick. All 4 of these teams, I think the top 4 teams have a 25% chance in getting the number 1 overall pick. So I don't think it makes a difference whether you got the worst record in the league or the 4th worst record in the league. I think all of these dudes have an equal shot of getting the number 1 overall pick.
Deshaun 916 came back with another one. Are the Warriors a sleeper team of the West?
You can't be a sleeper team when you just won the NBA championship. That can't happen. Your team, y'all to defend the NBA championships. Nobody is sleeping on the Warriors. Nobody. Everybody knows who the Golden State Warriors are. They just won the NBA championship. Steph Curry had 40 last night, right? They got some internal issues. You see how Draymond can get in his ways sometimes, and he can act a certain way. And we all know that could be a detriment to the crew, but nobody's sleeping on the Warriors. Nobody.
Nobody with half a brain is sleeping on
them. Nobody's sleeping on the Warriors.
Pimp named Slickback. Chill, brother. I'm excited about my Nets future. I underestimated this trade, but this guy, Mikal Bridges, is the real deal. I don't see a superstar, but I could see a few all-star appearances.
When I watch him, I said this already, and I still stand on the logic. I see Eddie Jones when I watch this dude. That's who he reminds me of.
That's high praise.
That's who he reminds me of a lot. He reminds me a lot of Eddie Jones. And I was big on once they traded Kyrie Irving, and me and Big Ox had this conversation that once they traded Kyrie Irving, I was thinking, why is KD still here? There's no reason for KD to still be here. Let's start over. You got your draft picks back. Not only did you get your draft picks back, you ended up getting a really good player in Mikal Bridges, and you got a really good player that was rotting away on your bench in Cam Thomas, who now looks really good. He looks like a really good building block. So you got your picks back, plus Cam Thomas, plus Mikal Bridges, and you got a solid big in Claxton. I like the way these guys are going, and the fact that, like you just mentioned, Marks is going to get an extension, so he's not getting axed. So he's going to be able to build this thing all over again instead of doing it like they did in the past, where we're going to bring in two superstars and see if this thing works. No, we ain't doing it like that. We're going to build this thing the right way.
That's a fact. Let me see. Lonnie Williams. How good will LaMelo actually be? He has all the talent, but none of the drive or intangibles on top of injuries. Talent alone is top 5 in terms of PGs. So chill. How good will LaMelo actually be?
The drive. I mean, I don't know if he doesn't have the drive. He made the All-Star team last year. What are you talking about? He doesn't have the drive. So I thought he was going to be starting in the All-Star game last year. That's how good I thought he was. So the drive is clearly there. The problem is that when Bridges ended up going out of the lineup, that really screwed them up because they were right on the doorstep of being a playoff team. They were right there. So add Bridges going out of the lineup, add Hayward being in and out of the lineup, add LaMelo Ball being injured, and so him being in and out of the lineup. It just looks a little bit different. So I think LaMelo Ball is one of the premier league guards in the game when he's healthy, and I think he could be a multiple All-Star game kind of guy. An All-NBA performer, I'm not going to go that far, but I think he could.
Yeah. I'm still a little asleep on LaMelo. I'll admit it. I'm a little asleep, but the kid, he still got some time. So I can't wait to see what he does do, though. Rella tapped back in with another one. After his Lakers jersey retirement ceremony, where do you guys rank Paul Gasol on the all-time foreign players list?
All right. So now again, this ain't Euros, Big Ox. This is foreign players. So
okay.
Lajuan, Ewing, Dirk, Giannis, Manu Ginobili. Was Gasol better than Ginobili?
I don't think so. I personally got Manu, but
maybe Manu was better at his job than Gasol was, because I think he was the best rotation player in the history of the NBA. I'm not on the fence about that. I think Manu is. Other international players, let's see, Detlef Schrempf, Marshallonis, plenty of Steve Nash.
Yeah.
So just to name a few, is he a top 10 international player all time? I think you can make that argument, sure.
That's a fair argument.
I think you can make that argument. He a top 10 international player all time. There was a stretch where he was a top 5, where he was in the conversation as the top 5 4-man in the game, no doubt. I think you can make that argument. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Uh-oh. L Train, what up, brother?
Oh man, I'm just chilling. What's up, Chill? How's the crack?
Hey, man, crack's good, brother. Crack's good. What's the crack with you?
It is what it is, man. I'm just up trying to chill with chill.
Mm-hmm.
Big Ox, what's going on?
Yup.
Chilling, man. It was good. It was good.
Sports, what's up, brother? How you doing, my man?
Good, man. How y'all doing?
Good.
All right. What's up, Francis? What's good, man?
Hey. How are you guys doing?
I want to answer your question from yesterday too, Sports. Baltimore don't want you can expect Lamar Jackson to be out of Baltimore.
Oh,
if they wanted him there, he would have already been signed. But they obviously don't. They obviously don't.
And Atlanta, it's been reported that they're not going to do anything with Lamar. I think either one or two places, Miami or Washington. I would like to see him in Miami because that's where he's from. The offensive creativity, the weapons. I wouldn't mind him in Washington as a Washington fan, and also with Eric Bieniemy, because this will actually elevate Eric Bieniemy's chances as far as getting a coaching job in the NFL.
Right.
And I think Washington, we got some nice pieces with Doxson, McLaurin, and Samuel. So I wouldn't mind Lamar in that mix. But Lamar wants that Deshaun Watson money. But it's laughable to me. Daniel Jones got his money faster than Lamar got his, but that's a story for another day, I guess.
Yeah.
Real quick. So kind of wanted to segue into some little that we haven't talked about much lately, or at least I haven't heard it's been spoken of. In this super chat, Jay Rizzi says, "Can we please get some Ant Edwards praise?"
Hey, Will. So go ahead, Big Ox.
How do we feel about Ant Edwards? I'm gonna let y'all kind of get into it. Is he slept on? Is he gonna? How bright is his future? You know, what is his ceiling? Let's get into Ant Edwards.
First of all, who's sleeping on Anthony Edwards? I think he's. If you name the two guards in the NBA, I can't name 5 two guards better than him. That's number one. Number two, he reminds me of a more athletic, bigger version of Mitch Richmond. That's who he reminds me of when I watch him. That's exactly who he looked like. So with that being said, he's in Minnesota. And if he was playing with the Miami Heat, if he was in Dallas, we'd be talking about him a lot more. But nobody's sleeping on him. I can tell you that right now. And everybody that knows the game praises Anthony Edwards. And I think that we're going to see him on an all-league defensive team real soon too. And his durability isn't in question. He stay on the floor.
I
Do you think
part of the
Anthony
reason
Edwards
why
will be in
Ant
discussion
was
for
like,
MVP?
At some point in his career, yes. Well, if you look at what's going on right now with this Minnesota team, it's looking like they're going to segue away from Cat, and we're going to build this thing around him. That's what it looks like, because Cat is in year 8. So with Cat being in year 8, I mean, how much more are you going to get from Cat? I think we've seen the best of him.
Yeah, they're going to probably move on from him. So what are they going to do in return? Either they're going to have to trade him, get something in return. I mean, because you don't want to lose Cat for nothing.
Or you might not necessarily have to trade him more than him when he take the reduced role, like Shaq should have done with Kobe. Like I'm gonna play off of you, as opposed to let's just move off of him. No, because those two dudes play good together. It's just a matter of will he play off of him and let Anthony Edwards be the lead guy. That's the $1 million question. I don't want to trade Cat. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Francis, what were you saying, Francis?
I think part of the reason Ant was getting slept on because I think if I remember early in the season, there were Minnesota Timberwolves and specifically Ant was playing poorly.
Garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I do
Those
agree
the
that the past few games, especially since Cat was out, I think they were really rolling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, as for where Ant could be, like Chill said, something like Mitch Richmond, maybe even better.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that I do agree that maybe they should try and getting someone a better second or third piece for Cat, because I think that Rudy Gobert, especially with his contract, it's going to be a lot harder to move him. And seeing the success that they got recently, I think you could make a good pairing between Ant and Rudy, and then like probably a second or third star.
Yeah, the Chill or anybody PSP, Ron, do you guys have any knowledge of when Cat will be back? Any timeline on that?
They're talking about him being out for the season.
Rest of the
Like,
season.
he ain't even practicing yet.
Yeah,
he started doing some running, but he hasn't even practiced, which I'm bugging out on because I'm thinking to myself, he had a strained hand.
His return is as uncertain as Zion's. His return is as uncertain as Zion's, and we just read the report that Zion, he's not even close to coming back. So
I told you that boy was soft. Talking about Cat.
Hey, my question about Cat though is, are they any better right now with Cat?
I think they are. I do think that they are. I think if Cat was in that lineup, I think that they are better with him. That he gives them more rebounding. He gives them another floor spacer, right? He gives them another big transition. Yeah, he gives them. I think he gives them more of that. I don't think that they. A lot of people say, the lane is clogged. Well, the lane isn't really clogged if all you're doing is shooting the long ball. So, and that's where Cat's game is. That's why I thought that with Cat and Rudy together, I thought this would work because now Cat moves to the 4. When Cat moving to the 4, he doesn't have to deal with Embiid. He doesn't have to deal with Joker. He doesn't have to deal with the better 5s in the game. He can play the 4, and which is his original position, by the way. He can play the 4 and flourish at that spot. So the difference now is, how are we going to distribute what the role is? Is Anthony Edwards now going to move to the lead dog, and now Cat relinquish that? Because let's be clear, Ron, I think Cat is a number 1 on the playoff team. I think he's a number 2 on a championship contender, and I think he's a number 3 on a championship team.
Wait, I'm sorry. I got a question. Was that the actual issue that people had with Cat and the Rudy Gobert in the lineup? Because if I remember, the main concern when they were both playing was more on the defense rather than the lane getting clogged.
Yes, and it was way more on the defense, which I didn't even bring up. Cat looked right, which I still didn't understand it. That moving from the 5 to the 4, he had such a difficult time guarding the pick and roll. Like, he didn't even understand how to switch. He didn't understand how to drop. It just looked strange with him because he was so used to guarding the basket. So now he's got to come out to the perimeter and guard the 4-man, and he looked lost defensively. I thought that it would
off-ball defense than it is on-ball defense or like screen defense with Cat. Like, they would run like off-ball screens, and Cat would just get lost. He wouldn't switch. He wouldn't know like when he was supposed to pick up, when he's supposed to drop on the roll. Man, he's just lost. He didn't know what he was doing more than it's on-ball stuff. Because I feel like being a center for multiple years, like him getting brought in the pick and roll, even though he wasn't a good defender, it's still normal for him. Like, he at least has some like semblance of like what he's supposed to do.
I got to guard the rim. That's it. That's all I got to do. Instead of if I got to switch, if I got to drop, if I got to go over the top of a screen, he looked like he was really lost in that aspect.
Yeah.
So
I think they're like really what can bring them all together, especially with Cat out there, with Anthony Edwards being the dog that he is, obviously with Rudy being a lob threat at all times. I think what they're really missing is like, and yeah, they got Conley, but I think they're really missing a lightning point guard that can really get Cat the ball where he needs to get him open threes, be able to get Ant the ball where he needs to, be able to break down the defense, get Rudy Gobert lobs, and really be able to push the fast break too.
Like who?
Like Russ. To be honest with you, and y'all gonna kill me. I thought Russ was perfect for them. He was speed the game up. I thought he would speed the game up. I thought he would get guys involved. The problem that they had with D'Angelo Russell, and Mike Conley does this for them now. D'Angelo Russell didn't get them any easy baskets. A lot of the stuff that they were getting, it looked like it was difficult. He didn't get them any easy baskets, not just in the half court, but in transition, because he was concerned a lot with his offense. So now you got a lead guard like Mike Conley, who also speeds the game up. So if you notice, Anthony Edwards looks better as a transition player. Rudy looks better as a rim runner, right? Naz Reid, he looks better as a rim runner. They're getting easier buckets than they were when they were playing with D'Angelo Russell. And I felt like if they would have traded for Russ, which a lot of people give Russ slack, and again, we got to make sure we clear, guys. Russ is going to throw the ball in the second row. He's going to do that. So you're going to have to accept that with Russ being on your crew. He's going to throw the ball in the second row. He's going to shoot the ball over the top of the backboard. That's part of who Russ is. But the other stuff, where he's going to get other guys involved and he's going to open up the offense, that's going to come.
That's definitely.
I feel like they would need a mix, though. Conley's kind of old, like for running the offense like on the break. In my opinion, like from what I've seen, he gets a lot of offense going in the half court compared to what D'Angelo Russell to me is almost like a 2-guard. Like the way you talk about Steph Curry, I see D'Angelo Russell more in that mold.
Yeah,
like
that's
a point
fair.
guard.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely,
Russ,
that's fair.
Russ is
How far?
break.
Yeah, we got you, Ox.
Okay, hold on a second. My thing. Hey, Ron, hold it down for a second. My thing.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, so in the future, like, are you expecting much from Minnesota?
Go, depending on the job.
I had I had Minnesota as a top 5 seed, and just so you know, I think before yesterday they were half a game out of the fifth spot.
Yeah,
I had them as a top 5 seed before the season.
That's only because the West is close, though. Like,
I know that you could go from 4 to 9.
Yeah.
No,
like,
I didn't. I wasn't going that far. No,
there's not a chance, and I don't see it in their future either. Like with any of their current pieces, the way you're talking about Ant being a number 1 on a championship team, I just disagree with the current talent that's in the league. Like I don't see like think of Ant's timeline. Like I don't see Ant beating Luka in the playoffs as a number 1 on a championship team. I don't see Ant beating Jokic or Giannis or Tatum. Like I don't see him beating these guys.
Well, did you see Tatum 2 years ago being a number 1 on a championship team? Did you see that from him? Mm-hmm. I can't say with 100% certainty that I saw Tatum being a number 1
fan,
3 years ago.
Tatum, even now, I just wanted to get this off real quick about who's the closer for Boston. It's Tatum. I don't care. It's Tatum.
It is.
If you really watch Celtics games, only people who argue that are people who don't watch Celtics games. At the end of games, they'll have Tatum they have Smart catch the ball in the middle. They have Tatum at the opposite free throw line. He runs down at the start of the play. Once the guy gets the ball, Smart gets it, and then he gives it to Tatum, and Tatum makes the decision. Like, it's Tatum's team. Like, it's not an argument.
No, it's not. No question about that. But the issue that I had with Tatum, and anybody who knows me knows how much I love Jason Tatum. The problem that we had with Jason Tatum is the in-between game. There is none. Like the other night, I mentioned this to Big Ox a couple of nights ago, and they played against New York. He shot 17 threes, man. 17 long. Not only did he shoot 17 threes, everything else was 7 feet and in. Nothing in the mid-range. Nothing from 12 to 15 feet. Nothing from 15 to 18. Nothing.
Chill. How many did you make? Not saying that this makes it better or anything, but how many did you make?
Oh, it was terrible. He was 6 for 17 on the long ball. 6 for 17 on the long ball. And that's coaching,
that was ridiculous.
That's coaching because if you're on the long ball line, he had a stretch where he went 2. I think I told Ox this. I think he had a stretch where he went either 1 for 8 or 2 for 9 at one point. The coach got to pull him aside and let him know, either sit him on the bench for a bit and listen, we got to get something else.
But OG, that's not Joe's philosophy, though. Like, if you watch it, he talks about it all the time. He's a new generation coach. He's an analytical guy. He talks about how he wants his guys shooting a high percentage of threes. He thinks that they're high quality shots, and he just wants his guys to keep shooting.
Which is fair. Which is fair because if you look at Boston, Boston's one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league, right? I can get with that. However, when I got a guy like Jason Tatum shooting 17 threes. There's a reason why the long ball is working for you, because you're getting other stuff going early. Jason Tatum will start the game shooting the long ball. I'm like, my man, you're not that great of a long ball shooter. Yep. So if you could get other stuff going first and then segue into that, I think that's something. I think that's something.
We saw that last year with Ime, though. Like he lost some parts of his game coming into this year, but he added some new things this year.
He did.
Like, last year, he really did have the in between game. And I felt like
his mid-range game is so much better than the 3-point game.
And if he would implement that,
Francis, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna pull up my guy David real quick. Appreciate you for stopping by.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Francis. Good to see you, brother.
Always tap in. Come back next week.
All right. See ya.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me get David up here. We can keep.
Yo, what's going on, Mark?
Salute, man. What's going on, man? Y'all can hear me?
What up?
Yeah. All right, go ahead, though, Mark. Finish up your point.
I forgot what I was talking about. Might as well let David get something off real quick.
Go ahead, David. What's up, David?
All right, so I've been itching for these 2 questions. One, I have a bone to pick with Chilltown because he has LeBron James as his goal currently. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, since when we giving participation awards? I mean,
you talking about participation. Why you keep saying participation? He didn't.
I mean, listen. Wait.
I'm participating in the. I'm participating in the pageant.
All right, but I mean, the goal in the NBA is to win it all, right?
That's
the whole point, right?
Right.
So if you make it there and you don't finish the job not finished, like Kobe Bryant said, right?
Job's not finished.
So at the end of the day,
wait a minute, come on, man. This is good. This is goofy. It just
how's
is.
it goofy?
The reason why. Here's why. Here's why.
All right, so wait. So let me ask you another question. Jokic won 2. He's about to get his third MVP, right? And he don't get it done. So we gonna give him credit for that?
You keep saying we. Ox, how do I talk about Joker? I don't even want to talk about Joker like I talk about Ewing, like I talk about Olajuwon, like I talk about Chamberlain. I don't even want to talk about that dude like that. I don't.
I'm not saying that.
I don't.
I mean, as far as like,
hold on, one second, Dave. Is that your mic?
I think that's his mic.
Yeah, that's my mic.
Right, let me. I'm gonna have to bump you off, bro. You reset it up.
Yeah,
you know
and we'll get you back in here. We get him back in here. Get him back in.
Let me bring my man Tyson up here.
Yeah.
What's going on, bro?
Yo, what up? What up?
Damn, Tyson.
You good?
No, we can't hear you.
No, we can't. Drop out. Come back in. Come back in. Real quick.
We see if we can get you back in. See if we can get you back in.
Yeah, I got this question for y'all. How far do y'all think Memphis could go, given the situation with Ja? How far do you think they can go?
Losing the play-in.
That's not ridiculous. That is not ridiculous.
Dylan Brooks might be the worst basketball player I've ever seen on the offensive side of the basketball, and he's their leading scorer right now.
I don't think that they drop down all the way to the play-in. I don't think that they're going to be that bad. I mean, they are.
It's not far though. But
it's possible.
They're not far. They're not far. And if they're in the play-in, they don't have a guy. Like if they play the Lakers in the play-in, they're not winning. I don't care. Like if LeBron's healthy, I don't see them winning.
I could see them getting bounced.
I don't see them winning.
I could see them getting bounced in round 1 of the playoffs, though. I could see that.
If the Lakers make the 8th seed, and if the Nuggets are the 1 seed, the Nuggets, they're gonna have problems against the Lakers.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Because Anthony Davis gives Joker hell.
It's going at least 6.
He gives Joker hell.
Hey, no doubt about that. To Memphis, though, Memphis isn't going to be as sweet as you guys think they're going to be. Like, I do think without Ja, they probably do lose.
No, they're not sweet. It's tough.
It's going to be a tough out because them dudes over there, they play hard, they rebound, they're young, they're rambunctious, they're going to run the floor. Even without Ja, they're still Desmond Bane's still pretty explosive. What's his name? Big dude, Jaren, he's a problem. Dylan Brooks, he's up and down, but Dylan Brooks will still give you 20 on any given night.
They did lose Brandon Clark, though.
Definitely.
I was about to say Brandon Clark and Steven Adams hurt. I think Steven Adams is back or coming back right now, but Ja opens up the floor for them guys too, though. So you know what I'm saying? It's going to be tough in the playoffs for Desmond Bane to be your main scorer and them to be successful, I think.
It's the difference between now getting Luke Kennard, because they were one of the worst jump shooting teams in the game before they got Luke Kennard. Now they got Luke Kennard. So the fact that they have him, he opens up the offense for them even more. And not in particular, I just said it's the big ox, and particularly in transition, they're able to speed the game up, because now you got a stop and pop guy, not just at the long ball line, but also in the mid range. That makes them even more lethal when they have a guy like that. But it's hard to replace. Again,
that's facts.
Me and Big Ox already said this. You don't just replace. This ain't football, yo. I mean, and even with a rotation guy, I can replace. I might lose something with a 7-8 guy. I might lose a little, but a 27, 28 a game guy, like, you don't just replace that, because we play a certain way when we got that dude in the lineup.
Tyus Jones is one of the best backup.
I was gonna bring Tyus Jones up because Ron made that point earlier on the show about his assist to turnover ratio.
He's efficient. He's smooth with the basketball, and he's way better on defense than Ja is. Like, he's very underrated on defense. Like, I would say he's somewhere around like Jose Alvarado on defense, to be honest.
I agree with all that. My only question is who's creating shots? For Luke Kennard, for JJJ, who's creating these shots? Who's creating these open looks for these guys?
Tyus, just to get the record straight, he has the second best assist to turnover ratio in the league.
I apologize.
He's not in the league.
So, like, JJJ, like, Ja doesn't, or Tyus doesn't have the same rim pressure though. Like, he's not
exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's good. I'm saying, but who's breaking down the defense to create mismatches for other players? You feel me? Who's getting double teamed? Who's the one that's going, off of picks and everything? Yeah, Tyus can do his thing, but I'm saying off of rim pressure and those type of things. Who's creating open looks? That's all I'm saying.
And more importantly, when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, because we ain't smoking people. So who are we going to in the meat and potatoes of the game for buckets?
Exactly.
Who's going to be?
That being said, I do think Desmond's a little better one-on-one than we give him credit for.
He's nice. He's good. But he's not job good
in late game.
Tyson, I'm sleeping on Desmond Bane because as a one-on-one player, he look like he a long ball shooter to me.
He's sleeping?
Really? I think I might be sleeping on him.
You got to watch him, bro. Watch him. Yeah. He creates some. If you overplay that 3 ball, he's going to the bucket on you.
I'm taking a long nap on Desmond right now.
I'm just trying
to realize they're not this good just because of Ja Morant. Right. They got other little things going on for him. Jaren Jackson don't really score that much. He will give you. He'll go for 20, 30 every now and then. 30 rarely, 20 every now and then. But Desmond Bane's really that second go getter. Mm-hmm. And
here's my thing with Desmond though. If you have a defensive plan, like he's not going to go to the bucket just with the defense set on him. Like he's the opportune guy that's going to go to the bucket. Now he'll step back and shoot threes all day, which is a low percentage shot. But as far as him just getting the ball clear out, I don't see him as that type of player. He gets it off of people closing out too hard, and he'll blow by you for a layup. You feel me?
Tyson, hold that thought real quick, Tyson. 1 second. Hey, Morant, PSP. I'm gonna grab some other guys up. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. Y'all make sure y'all tap in next week.
Absolutely.
Anytime, man. Thank y'all.
No doubt. No doubt.
Go ahead, Tyson. My bad.
I finished.
I might be sleeping on him, Tyson. I got to pay because from when I watch Memphis, I do watch him, and he looks like he lives behind that 3-point line more than anything.
For the most part, you're not mistaken. For the most part,
and when I think about a guy blowing by a guy, especially with the kind of body type that he has, I expect him to be better at the rim. Like I ain't never seen him throw it over the top of nobody, right? I don't see him finishing like guys his size should be finishing at the rim. So maybe again, I think I might be sleeping on him, and I probably need to pay more attention to him than I do, and I will.
I think he's an underrated finisher, man. He's like you said, he's strong. Like you're not going to just bully him down low. When he gets to the paint, he can finish with both hands. I think he's a strong finisher. I just think he doesn't, as far as getting to the rim, he doesn't have the moves, the you know what I'm saying, to get there if the defense is set. But on the blow by or a hard closeout, he can get to that rim and finish. I feel.
I'll pay more attention to him.
One more thing about Memphis too that I do want to highlight is y'all got to also keep in mind it actually stems from the old Memphis teams that really got a grit and grime type of team, especially when you add Steven Adams in there and move Jaren to the 4. So now you got Steven Adams, a big bruiser. You got Jaren at the 4, who's defensive player of the year candidate. Desmond Bane's one of the best guard defenders in the league. Dylan Brooks plays some defense. Tyus, he plays defense, and everybody else on their team, like they just got a defensive culture.
Well, I don't think we're sleeping on them, Ron. I don't think we're sleeping on them defensively. I think they had a top 3 defense in the league last year, and then I think this year they're a top 5 defense. So I don't think anybody's sleeping on them defensively. I don't think that's a question. The question right now is how are they going to adjust when you take 28 a game out of the lineup in your best playmaker?
That's facts. Pre trade deadline, I was one of the few that had him coming out the West. I don't have that same energy now with the trades that took place and everything. Right. But pre trade deadline, I had him coming out the West. That was
context. What you got, brother?
Yeah, I context. So first of all, salute to you, Chill. And it's high level basketball. I love high level basketball. Unlike Ron last time, you let me get sniped. With Ticket TV, you let me get sniped, and you let me get my point across. But it's cool. It's cool.
Hey, context, real quick, brother, because the super chats do run this show. We can't stay on the Memphis Grizzlies too much, so I want to kind of transition a little bit, and I want to get your thoughts on this though. My man, Where Is Cheese tapped in and said, What do you think of the Magic's rebuild so far? So let's transition from the Grizzlies and kind of tap in on the Magic real quick. You got anything to say about that context?
Nothing but up. I think they're probably gonna have to refine, get some more veteran players to fill out some of the pieces that they might need. But as far as raw talent, they have everything that you need as far as this style of NBA. You can clearly see they have a number one in Paolo. They have a good point guard in Cole Anthony. I think Jalen. All right, here's the thing about Jalen Suggs. He's the wild card for me. I think it was the same thing that Jamal Murray was going through when there was a transition between shooting guard and point guard. I think he doesn't I don't think he realizes what he wants to do yet. I don't know if he wants to be a 2 or a 1. I think he in his brain he's thinking, I'm a 1, but his mentality when I see his play style is very 2-like. But he needs the ball. He's a rhythm player. You know what I mean? I think once he figures that out, and they get their rotational pieces around them, I think there's nothing but up. But Paolo from day one, polished just like Melo. Like, it's really ridiculous to see how polished he is at this speed. He looks like he's already 8 years, like a slimmer Glenn Robinson, a very slimmer, but just 1-2. He looks like he's playing YMCA rec with grown men, and he doesn't it looks like big bodies don't phase him. You know what I mean? But I'll let you guys talk. My fault.
I don't want
to be too long-winded.
I think he's a more athletic version of Antoine Walker, in my personal opinion. That's what he looked like to me. But with that also being said,
he got some boogie in his game.
With that being said, I think that we can't leave out the Euro Wagner. So with the Euro, with Powell and Bobo was a steal. Let's make sure we clear on that. Bobo was an absolute steal for them, right? So to grab Bobo, they got all the pieces. Now it's just a matter of putting these pieces together, and it's going to take some time. See, we live in a time where everything is right now. Yo, Banchero is 20. Relax, Orlando fans. This is a 20-year-old
playing like
kid.
He's 25. Chill. He's playing like he's 20. Grown man. He looks
20
like
years old. Man. Wagner is what, 23?
Right.
Cole Anthony's 22. These are kids, yo. Orlando, relax. You got the pieces. Now it's just a matter of building. I think Bobo is 23, something like that. He's a bunch of kids on this crew. Now, I know that Orlando has been bad for a while. I mean, they did make the playoffs 2 years ago with Vooch. But, I mean, there's really no tradition down there since Dwight Howard was gone, right? So you have to build it like this. This isn't New York. This isn't Miami. This isn't Los Angeles, where you're going to bag free agents like that. So you got to build your unit through the draft. And I think that they're doing a good job at that right now.
And Chill, keep in mind, they got a lottery pick coming.
They do have a lottery pick coming in.
Dwight Howard in Taiwan just went for 84, like some crazy stuff. Like, this is ridiculous. First of all, why is he not in the NBA? The NBA
That's wild.
failed.
That's wild.
84? What is he doing to Taiwan, bro?
Yo, Dev, you there, Dev? What's up, man?
Can't hear you, Dev. What up, brother? What's up, brother? Yeah, we got you.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, we got you.
All right. So I mess with the Magic. So my question to Chilltown is, how do you feel about what's it called, the Kings, honestly, and what do you think the Kings can do to surprise us? And like, do you think they need an addition? I want to give Big Ox team some love since they're the 2 seed now.
I mean, we've been talking about the Kings a lot this episode, and the only thing that worries me about the Kings is experience. That's it.
I said the same thing. Phil.
That's the only thing that worries me about the Kings. We got our glass cleaner and our buckets on the block in Sabonis, right? We got our dominant ball. We got our lead guard in De'Aaron Fox. We got our long ball shooter. We got our rotation guard in Monk, who to this day, I think, even though everybody says that Rob Pelinka did a great job, to let Caruso and Monk walk out the front door, you should be fired for that. I can't believe
and KCP.
I can't believe he let Monk.
Oh, sorry, I gotta drop down.
Yeah, no problem. You go. Right, I can't, and I understand that this is a money issue. I think that Monk might have been a little bit.
You're $1 billion company. Chill. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut in. This is your show. Do your thing. But you incompetence. And you luckily you got this back because you was about to get out of here for like lucky you got this back. But you're losing me. You're losing me. Go ahead,
to let Caruso and Monk just walk out the front door. I know that you ended up getting Monk up in Sacramento for 2 years of $20 million, which is a bucket of extra crispy and a 6-pack, basically.
Easy.
For what you got him for. right? So I think the Sacramento, the crew that they have, and Ox, you know how I feel about Richie Holmes. You know how I feel about him. And the fact that he's going to get back more. Mike Brown is going to get him. I think Mike Brown is going to get him on the rotation, especially once the playoffs start. Now, the playoff brand of basketball is a different brand of basketball. No doubt about that. It's a different brand of basketball. But I think that the Sacramento Kings, I think you're going to be, I think you do is going to be trouble. I think you do is going to be trouble in
they play deep, and like you said, playoff basketball is more half court, it's more defensive, and I think they fit well in that playoff type of brand. You know what I'm saying? They play defense, so and they're good in the half court. You know, they got people that can create, they got people that can rebound. So, like you said, they're gonna be tough, man. You know, shout out Big Ox, man. They lighten the beam up there.
Now remember, Tyson, it's different when like what's going on now. They got the Knicks coming in. Pardon me. They got the Knicks coming in, I think, tonight or tomorrow night. Big Ox, y'all play the Knicks.
Tomorrow.
They got the Knicks, and then 2 nights later, you got like Charlotte or something like that. I'm not sure. As opposed to, we got an entire week to scheme the Clippers.
Right.
That's it. We got an entire week to whatever it is you don't know how to do. We're gonna highlight that, right?
Right.
So to watch Monk come off the bench for 40. You know what that's telling me? I don't know if these dudes want to guard on the perimeter, so maybe we want to take advantage of that, right? Maybe we want to speed the game up a little bit more, right? Zubac as a rim runner, well, he gets himself in foul trouble early. Well, maybe we want to put more pressure on him at the rim, so maybe we want to speed the game up on him. So when you got a week, 2 weeks to basically scheme against this one team, I think it's a lot different than in the regular season.
Right. With that being said, do you feel Mike Brown? Do you have confidence in Mike Brown to recognize those weaknesses of other teams and scheme it up properly? You know what I'm saying? Do you have faith in that?
Let me jump in real quick. I got 2 concerns with Kings. Shout out to the Kings, first of all. Super dark horse, and I called it from the summertime. I was talking to my homies. I called it from the summertime. The only 2 things I have, I'm worried about Kevin Huerter shooting up and down. Super is too up and down for me. I think the reason why
he's good in the playoffs, though. He's good in the playoffs.
He is. But I want to reduce his ball handling role just a little bit more so he can focus on shooting. That's all I want from him. Just do, because he does try to shot create, and he does have some moves. He was sourcing up play. You know what I mean? Like, he has some moves, but I think he should focus more and just be more of a sniper, to be more of that just threat. Just keep on off the ball. You know what I mean?
That's what Nate McMillan did with him against Philly. That's what Nate McMillan did.
That game 7, man, bailed him out.
Y'all think the Timberwolves could upset them in a 2-7 matchup? Because I think they could.
No.
No,
why
not
not?
right now.
Timberwolves?
With Cat, yes. With Cat, yes, but not without Cat. Not without
I just think Anthony Edwards will be the best player in that series, though. The only thing I worry about, Anthony Edwards will be the best player in that series.
I agree, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
I don't
If
know
he can
he's the
touch
best
the paint,
player. He scores the most, but that doesn't necessarily make him the best player.
I feel
He's
like
two-way
Fox
too,
would be the
though.
best.
He's two-way too. He played D2.
I feel like
Fox-
Ron, he would hold on, let me just get this off. Ant in that series would be by far the best performer.
Agreed.
He is a two-way score, 3-level scorer. I think, all right, I'm gonna be very, very frank. He's the closest thing as far as a 2 guard that I see to
Don't say it.
Wade.
Don't. Oh, okay. I thought you
Dwayne
were
Wade.
I'm about to say, I thought he was gonna go crazy. I thought he was gonna go crazy.
No. But I think he's one move. He knows what he wants. I think he knows he can get to his spot whenever he feels like it. But I think, like a lot of people say, the paint is kind of clogged because Cat does not decide what he wants to do. I think I think Cat has a lot of basketball identity issues. I think
the reason why context is because he came into the league. He came into the league as a 4-man. They got him playing the 5. That's the problem.
Real quick, Cat has an IQ problem.
Did he know his ball? What you got for us, bro? You popped in. You ain't really said much. You got anything you want to holler at Chill about? This is the time to chill with Chill. You know what I'm saying? You can get.
I just wanted to ask
some knowledge.
I just wanted to ask Chill how he feels about the Mavericks, because I feel I'm a Mavericks fan, and I feel like it was a good trade, but I just did not like giving up Dorian Finney-Smith, and that's like my biggest thing. Because Josh Green has flashes, but I feel like in order for us to get where we need to go, We need Josh Green, and we probably need another rim protector and get off Christian Wood.
Well, the biggest problem that we have is who's guarding on the perimeter. That's number one. That's the biggest thing. So to get off of Finney Smith and Dinwiddie, who both guarded. So now what we're going to do in the Western Conference, dealing with Sacramento, dealing with Phoenix, dealing with the Warriors, we're just going to try to outscore these teams. Well, first of all, Phoenix already proved with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. So Kyrie Irving and Luka, that 30 you got, we got that too. So what's next? What else do you have? Because that 35, that we got that too. So if that's all you got, then this is not going to work. This is not going to work out for you. But I do think that this is a win-win for Dallas. And the reason why I think this is a win-win for Dallas is because if they end up going deep into the playoffs, right? Let's say they get back to the West Finals, maybe even go to the NBA Finals. I'm speculating there, right? I don't think that they go into the finals, but I'm speculating. Let's just say for the sake of argument that they do that. This is a win-win for them because, number one, Irvin's going to walk out the front door. That's going to leave open a lot of money for Dallas. And now Dallas looks way more attractive because Luka has now shown twice now that he can play off the basketball and be effective if they're going that deep. If it doesn't work, Mark Cuban can tell us, at least we trying.
I have a hot take about Luka. Him and Trey, I feel like they have peaked in terms of, I feel like the games that they have, they were going this way. Now I feel like they're going this way. And they're kind of going down in terms of mentality. I hate how Luka, his attitude on the court. I hate Trae Young's attitude on the court. And it's just like the new young guys, I'm just not feeling the attitudes, and I feel like they're peaking faster and they're playing less games.
Well, I don't know if they peaking faster more than it is where their peak is. So what I mean when I say that is I've always stood on the logic that by year 5, this is who this guy is. Now, you're probably going to get some better seasons after that, right? You might see a guy averaging more points. You might see a guy averaging more rebounds. But moving forward, by year 5, this is what you should expect from this guy. So where we see Luka, where we see Trey, I think are we in year 4 or are we in year 5? They got drafted in 18, right?
I think it's year 4.
5. I think it's 5.
Oh, it's 5?
Yeah. I think they got drafted in 18. So what you've seen from these dudes, from this point, this is probably what you're gonna get. So Luka is not going to turn into a lockdown defender, right? Luka is not going to be like a double-digit rebounder on the regular. He might have a double-digit rebound season. He might have that. Luka came into the league as a Euro complaining. That's who he was. And that hasn't changed. And it's affected his game too, right? It's affected his game. You see how he is in transition when he'll turn the ball over or when somebody misses. Ron has heard me, and Ron think I'm bugging out. I think he's the worst transition defender in the game. Terrible.
Terrible. He giving up on plays. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
He's the most hard to watch great players.
Momentum killer. His just lack of just not caring, and it's really bad. It's bad. As good as Luka is, it's really bad. Continue, Chill. My fault.
Right. No, my question is, Chill. What you said, like you said, it's their 5th year. As you know who Luka is now. Do you think what he is good enough to be that number 1 guy on a championship contender?
Yeah, I do.
Nope.
My bad.
To be honest with you, I do. I don't think his game has to change much because offensively he's really good, right?
Sure.
And that's how I feel about people talk to me about, well, you got Magic here and you don't have this guy here. Offensively, he's just so much better than everybody else that kind of outweighs the other stuff. He does have to improve defensively. Like I have to get at least Irv will give me an effort, right?
Give me an effort.
Irv will give me an effort. Irv might not stop a guy. He might not be good after he gets beat on the initial move or something like that, but he'll give me effort on the basketball. He will do that. With Luka, well, he leads the league in deflections. Yo, I'm playing 38 minutes. I said this before. When James Harden led the league in steals, James Harden played 39 minutes. I can tell you right now, if I'm on the floor for almost 40 minutes, I can get 1 steal. I can get 1. If I'm on the floor for 40 minutes, Ron, I'm telling you right now, somebody's going to give me the ball that second time.
Definitely.
Somebody's going to, if I'm on the floor for 40 minutes and I'm just in passing lanes, somebody's going to give me the basketball. Luka, on the other hand, if that effort, if you watch him off the basketball, oh my God, it's incredible to watch.
it's excruciating.
It's incredible to watch. I'm like, look at this dude, Joe.
Coach's nightmare.
All he wants to do is get back to the basketball. That's it. And the Dallas Mavericks, And real quick, Ox, did he?
No, yeah, go ahead.
That attitude with Dallas, which is like you heard Jason Kidd say it, that we're probably going to have to outscore teams. It's kind of like what the Phoenix Suns were in the early 2000s. I think I can hit you more than I can stop you from hitting me. Only problem with that is you're going to run up on somebody that can hit you just as much and
play defense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for real.
There's a lot of teams like
and I'll rebound you.
Yeah. Well, Tyson, Diddy, Context. Appreciate y'all for stopping in, but this ain't one of those 3-hour shows. So
no. Much love. Appreciate the time y'all gave me.
Hey, we'll be back here next week. Same time next week. Y'all make sure y'all tap in.
Come through.
All right. Salute y'all, brothers. Be easy.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all.
Yo, chill.
Yes, sir.
Where did James Harden peak at on defense? Did he ever peak as a average defender or above average defender?
I want to say around 16, maybe 15. Like when I watched him in the West Finals, where he had to make an effort to defend. When they played against Golden State, where he had to make an effort. See, when he was in Oklahoma City, he was a rotation guy who came into the league primarily as buckets and as a playmaker. So he had guys like Ibaka to cover him, right? He had guys like that to cover him. So when he gets to Houston, where he's the guy, and now him defending is spotlighted, he has to at least make an effort. I'm thinking around 15 was where I think that we saw the best of him as a defender.
And what does that constitute? What does that actually mean?
As a guard, because I don't think he's a two guard. I put him in the same category with guys like Jerry West, Allen Iverson, Steph Curry, guys like that. But with that being said, I think he'll go down as average to below average.
Okay.
As a defender. He wasn't great, but he wasn't horrible. He could have stretches where he was garbage, but he could also have stretches where he wasn't bad. Especially as a post defender, right? Especially as not in transition, he was garbage. No doubt about that. In transition, he wasn't stopping anybody. But as a post defender, he wasn't bad, right? He wouldn't. There were as a wing defender where he would get in passing lanes. He wasn't bad. So he had stretches where he wasn't bad.
Right. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Let's run through these super chats real quick. Chill. Some hosts actually like to get through the super chats. We won't say no names. So.
Nah, we won't. We ain't gonna put that out there. We're gonna leave that right here. We ain't gonna put that out there. We're gonna leave that right here. Mm-hmm.
Actually, we got it's a new YouTube member. Analysis Nick.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
good
brother.
To have you.
Appreciate
good to have you.
No doubt. No doubt.
Okay, real quick, y'all. Let's rank them by prime. KG, Jokic, Giannis, Duncan, Dwight. What you got,
and AD. So KG, his prime. Well, KG's peak. He had a 23-13 peak, right? That wasn't better than Joker. But KG clean glass. Not only does he clean glass, he was a lockdown defender for a lot of years, and they didn't really do much for him up there in Minnesota. But he was in the conversation as the best four-man in the game. When I say in the conversation, it was him and Duncan. There was other guys, but it was him and Duncan. Joker, I mean, I think we still in that prime with him, and matched up with these guys. I'm not sure that he had a better prime than KG, and the reason why I say that is because KG won the Defensive Player of the Year and he won the league MVP, right? Yeah. So I think he was better on the defensive side of the basketball in his prime. Giannis, his prime, I mean, I think it trumps Joker. I think it trumps KG simply because on the other side of the basketball, I think KG was a better. I think KG might have been a better perimeter defender, maybe, but it's not by much. I think Giannis is a better rim protector than him. I think Giannis is just as good a rebounder as KG. And offensively, I think he was a little bit better than KG. Duncan, I think Duncan, in terms of his prime and in terms of his peak, I mean, I think Duncan had a 25 and 12 peak. And I still think it's a shame that he never was the defensive player of the year. That's nuts to me. He had a 10-year stretch where he finished in the top 5, 6 of those 10 years, including finishing third, finishing top 3 like 3 or 4 times. That was nuts.
Yeah, that's criminal.
Dwight Howard, I'll get to AD in a minute. Dwight Howard, there was a stretch where he was the best 5-man in the game. And it wasn't a question. It was not a question who the best 5-man in the game was. It was him. And I think AD was crippled by injury. So I think AD goes to the back of that line. So if I had to go in terms of peak, if I had to go prime, Joker's still in his prime, so his is incomplete. Duncan, Howard, KG, Joker. I'm sorry, Duncan, Giannis, Howard, Duncan, Giannis, KG, Duncan, Giannis. I want to make sure I get this right. Duncan, Giannis, KG. Nope, Duncan, Giannis, Howard, KG, Joker, AD.
Okay, that's fair.
That's where I'm gonna go with that.
You got the right over KG?
The reason why I'm saying that, Ron, is because I think about when KG was in his prime, there was a question about, is he the best player in the game at his position? When Dwight Howard was in the game, it wasn't a question.
Hold on, no, chill. The question was a dude that was number 1 on that list.
Right. That's also true, too. So competition does matter. Competition does matter. And don't forget, too, when Dwight Howard was running around, it still was a big man league. So it wasn't like it wasn't like the big man was gone. It was still a big man league. So Duncan was running around. KG was running around. Amari Stoudemire was running around. Shaq was still running around, right? So we still had a lot of great bigs in the game. Rasheed Wallace was running around. And there was a stretch.
Pau Gasol, Chris Webber.
Pau Gasol,
Chris Webber. Yeah.
Well, he was only done. Yeah, he was on the other. Webb was on the other side when Howard started to become that. But there was a stretch where you could say, undisputably, Howard was the best player at his position in the game. KG, on the other hand, I mean, you could have that discussion. I don't think he was ever better than Duncan, ever.
Yeah, I think there might have been a 2 or 3 year there in the early thousands where you could give it to KG, but I think overall we do have to go with Tim Duncan.
Yeah. One thing about the White, I think White's career or his peak is I don't think we talk about it enough.
No, we don't.
I really don't think we talk about his downfall.
No, we don't. He should have won the Defensive Player of the Year 4 years in a row, Ron.
Definitely.
He should have won it 4 years in a row, no doubt. They gave it to Tyson Chandler that 1 year, and Howard was definitely better. He was a better defender than Tyson Chandler.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that ranking goes, chill. I don't agree with it all the way, but I'm not mad at it. Ron, I would ask yours, but we're on limited time, and plus nobody cares. Angie Carr tapped back in. Herb Bronny got his 5-star ranking. Thoughts? What y'all think about this?
I don't really watch high school basketball like that, Ron. So I don't know. But from what I've seen from him, he looks like he got the goods. He looks like the real deal. Now, I'm not gonna go as far as to say what his father said, where his pops is like, yo, I know some players in the league that my son better than right now. I'm like, easy. I'm not gonna go that far, but from a high school standpoint and him going into college, he looked like he's gonna be a good player, a really good player.
What you think?
The thing about what Bron said was, like, I'm not going to necessarily say I believe him, but if you're athletic enough, which he is, and if you can shoot the ball, which he's displayed, he can run with them cats. Now, I'm not saying that he deserves to be on the NBA roster, but in an open gym setting, he can play with NBA cats. No doubt about it. He's athletic enough, and he can shoot good enough. Now, what his role would be in that, I mean, he'd probably be a spot-up shooter and defender, but Bronny, like, he's a competent basketball player. No doubt about it.
Yeah, he is.
Tough Bradley tapped in. Chill. How would you fix the Hornets?
Well, first of all, we got to get a franchise player, which we have in Lamelo Ball, and we got to build it around him. See, when Bridges went down, that threw a monkey wrench in everything, because that team was they were on the cusp of being a legit playoff team, because that team was being built around Ball and Bridges, and when Bridges went away, that threw a monkey wrench in everything that they were doing. Plus, Haywood was going in and out of the lineup. I think they got a steal in Mark Williams. So to fix the Charlotte Hornets, there's really nothing to fix. This team is what it is in terms of competence. You know, the smartest people. I said this yesterday on the show. Smart people surround themselves with people who are smarter than them. And you know, if Jordan were to continue to surround himself with people who are smarter than him. I think he got a steal in this kid, Mark Williams, this kid, Lamelo Ball. I think he's your franchise player. I don't know what we're doing with Bridges, if you're going to bring him back or not. I'm not sure what they're doing with him, and I'm not sure what they're doing with, I call him Keith Murray because that's what he looked like, but Scary Terry. I'm not sure what they're doing with him, but you got your franchise player. It's now just a matter of building around him. That's the most important thing. Whenever you have a franchise, the most important thing is to establish a franchise player. Charlotte got their franchise player. Now you just got to build around.
Straight up, that's a fact. Anthony McNeil, why isn't Dr. J influence on the game talked about?
Yes, it is. If you talk to Kobe Bryant, if you talk when Kobe Bryant was around, you talk to Jordan, when you talk to who am I thinking about? LeBron James. They'll tell you, no Doc, no us. Everybody talks about Doc. No question about it. Doc was the originator, right? There was Elgin Baylor, Doc, and then it moved to all of these other younger cats. So Doc's game is talked about by the people who know basketball. And the reason why it's not talked about by the younger generation is because they don't know. Same way I didn't know who Elgin Baylor was like that. But we live in an information age. So you could look up stuff like this, right? You could look up stuff like this and you could find out. Man, when I was 15 years old, Ron, I wish you would tell me that Elgin Baylor was better than Dominique Wilkins. Get the hell out of here. That's, of course, until I went and did some homework on Elgin Baylor. And I'm like, wait a minute. This dude is nice. What am I missing? So the reason why Doc isn't talked about like that is because of the younger generation. They ain't doing their homework.
And Dominique, your favorite player, right?
I dig Dominique. Oh, man. Dominique.
I saw a video of him 2 years ago still dunking.
And Dominique almost 60, just so you know.
Yeah. All right. So put it on vinyl. That's a great name. I'm trying to tell y'all, nothing sounds quite like vinyl.
It does.
I love playing my records in the morning.
When you hear that needle hit the record,
yeah, I gotta get on that. But anyways, put it on vinyl. Tapped in and said, "What are some of y'all favorite sports movies?" Let's bounce around. What you got?
Yo, Rocky, when he beat the Russian, he had me wanting to go box for real.
Yeah, what was that? That was number 2? Was that number 2?
4. That's 4.
Rock for real had me wanting to go box for real. Like I wanted to fight people.
Yeah, remember the first 2 he fought Apollo Creed. The third
one,
I
think that's 3 because
no, that's 4. That's 4 because he fought Mr. T in 3. He fought Mr. T in 3.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that one too.
Yeah, he fought Mr. T in 3. But Rocky had me wanting to box for real.
Is that your favorite sports movie?
Nah, Glory Road was dope.
Yeah,
it was about that was definitely one of my favorite movies.
That's cool. End up being UTEP.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With Don Haskins. Loving Basketball was dope too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought Loving Basketball was dope. Blue Chips was dope.
Blue Chips. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What about you, Ron?
I'm gonna either have to go with I loved Coach Carter. It just hit me at that
Carter
right time. It hit me at the right time in my life where I could really relate to it. But I also like Remember the Titans too.
Yeah, that was dope.
That's what I was gonna say. Remember the Titans is for sure my favorite sports movie. The Hurricane, I like the Hurricane a lot too.
That was dope.
Yeah. By Reuben Carter. Just did that one. Tyson Thomas tapped in. Salute y'all brothers. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, brother. No doubt. Come through. You know where to find us at.
Always a pleasure. Put it on vinyl, tap back in. Who are some athletes who you saw and realized mid-game round that they were officially over?
I thought Doc was over after when they won the championship in '83. After '84, I felt like I think I might be answering the wrong question. Realized mid-game or mid-round that they were officially. I saw them as players; they're officially over. All right, yeah. I get you. So, Doc. After they won the championship in '83, I saw Doc again in '84, and he didn't look like the same Doc, and I felt like it was coming up on that time. He ended up playing more years. I felt the same way about Bird after the '88 season. Like he looked like he was laboring. Jordan in 2003, and it broke my heart too, Ron. It did, because I didn't want to let him go. I didn't. I didn't want to let him go, but I knew Jay was over.
What about you, Ron? Who was it for you? Who did it for you?
It was probably like Melo for me. You know, I was a big Melo guy. T-Mac as well. When he started getting like derailed with his injuries, that one was hard for me to just let go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you who it was for me. My favorite player, pretty much of all time, when Kevin Garnett went to the Nets, and I was like, man, KG.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe KG was there. I thought he was invincible. I'm like, KG will never go out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of tore me down.
Mm-hmm.
Who we got next? My man Aramis Jones, AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Zion out 2 more weeks minimum. Originally reported by Windhorst, confirmed earlier today by Willie Green, head coach.
All right, so now it's a timeline because it wasn't even a timeline today. Earlier today, there was no timeline with him. It was just, he's out. So I got people telling me that, he might be a bust. I'm not gonna go that far, but Ron, I don't think he's over. I need to see one more season. I'll give him.
Yeah. If he does end up not coming back, I mean this is a bust, correct? Like this is Greg Oden.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to talk about it because I've been a big Zion guy, Bob. You know, since Duke, been a big Zion guy. Since he got in the league, been a big Zion guy. Still to this day, I'm running on. I hate to say it now. I hate to admit it, but I'm really running on blind faith with Zion. And I believe he's still going to come back and be dominant. But he was on track this year. And then
he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
That one seed, everything. That was really, that was really making moves with Zion.
Yeah, that's a fact. Michael Nooner.
Mm-hmm.
Salute to the OG, Uncle Chill. Where you rank D Wade? I know he took a backseat to Bron, but before that, Wade was super nice. Is he over Manu?
Well, the first part of your question, I think Dwayne Wade is a top 25 player all time. And number 2, yes, I think he was better than Manu. The only reason why we had this conversation in the mid 2000s was because Argentina won the gold medal. Argentina won the gold medal. That's the only reason why this was a conversation between Dwayne Wade and Manu Ginobili. But when we got to the Olympics, that conversation was put to bed. We were done with that. Wade deaded that. He deaded that conversation. I got him ranked 3rd all time on the shooting guard list. He was able to be a number 1 on the championship team. Don't think for one second him taking a backseat to James was a detriment. In fact, that actually boosted his career, him taking a backseat to James because they were able to win. And how good he was. Just so you know, Ron, if they beat Dallas in that series, Wade is the finals MVP.
No doubt about it. I think even with that whole thing happening, I think that actually helps Dwayne Wade a little bit more when you think about it from the other way. Obviously, when you think about it from winning, you're like, okay, if they win that championship and he gets that finals MVP, obviously, we boost him a bit more. He got 4 championships? He got 5? He got 4 championships? 3. So he got 3 championships. And then I'm saying he got 4 if they win that. And then he got 2 finals MVPs.
We're talking about him way different.
You also got to understand that the fact that Bron didn't show up, but he showed up and was balling that whole time, kind of actually helps his case for I came to ball every time it was time to ball.
Yeah, you did. Alex Pickering coming through with the best super chat I've ever seen. What would the prime Lamar Odom be today?
I love this question. No doubt about this. He Ben Simmons with defense. I mean, he Ben Simmons with offense. That's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's who Lamar Odom is. That's Ben Simmons, except he can score. Imagine Ben Simmons with his brain turned off and he just rocking. And he can. That's who Lamar Odom is today.
And I need y'all to think of Ben Simmons back in 2019, back in 2020. But before all the drama, when he really was hooping, what was he? He was an all-star. The year he was all-star. That year.
Made the All-NBA team, made the All-League defensive team. So
I think he's been with a little better handle too.
And add a money mid-range game to his game. That's who Ben Simmons is. I mean, that's who Lamar Odom is today.
Ice Dripper, thanks for tapping in, brother. Thanks
yes, sir.
Hey, Ron, so Ice Dripper right here, that means he is a YouTube member or he's just showing some love right now?
Nah, if he's a YouTube member, it's just going to come up as a strip. Yep. That means he sent the super chat, but he forgot to send it with words. But appreciate the donation.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, Ice Dripper. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, no doubt.
Let's see. Jason Newcomb. How would a prime Tracy McGrady perform in today's game? Okay, this is my new favorite super chat of all time. Tracy McGrady.
Offensively, he'll be a better version of Paul George.
I don't think that's no debate.
I think he's a far superior Paul George.
Yo, today, T-Mac averaged 32 back in early 2000s.
Easily.
Today, I don't think it's even any question. T-Mac scored 35.
Yeah,
Easy.
The game's way more open. The athlete that Tracy McGrady is, the transition player he is, man, stop playing. Like I said, I think he a better version offensively than of Paul George. That's what I think he is.
And on top of that, T-Mac didn't, kind of what Bob was saying about Ray Allen earlier, T-Mac didn't really get a chance to shoot a ton of threes. Imagine T-Mac being come on, you give T-Mac 17 threes to shoot like Jason Tatum?
That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
Deshaun 916. I know this chill show, but my favorite sports movie is
the Pistol was dope. The Pistol was dope. Y'all did I did dig that show. Yeah, I did dig that. That was dope.
Okay. Bruh Minto. Y'all disrespecting 33, 9, and 8. First time since MJ. He's talking about James Harden, I'm sure.
No, James Harden is not 33, 9, and 8. No.
So who's he
talking
talking
about? I think he's talking about Luka. That's what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought James Harden was doing something like this in Houston. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My
He's talking
mistake,
about Luka. We ain't disrespecting that. Nah.
No disrespect. We just, see what we see. That's all. Angie Carr. Chill was crying when MJ hung up his sneaks.
Angie, you for real? Like, you think that's some nonsense? I wasn't ready to let him go, yo. Even though Jay clearly was over, I was not ready to let him go because I was convinced I'm never gonna see nothing like this again, ever.
It's so hard.
Yeah, yo. I did not want to see him go, man. And he was clearly over too, Ox. It was over. Yeah. It was over.
Chill, Bob. What was worse to let go? Was it Kobe in 16 or was it Jordan in 03?
It was Jordan for me because I came into basketball with Jordan being who he was. It took this, Ron. I didn't come around to Kobe till maybe 2014. You know that, but I wasn't feeling Kobe. Kobe was not. I wasn't showing Kobe no love. I respected his game, but it was no love for Kobe until
a lot of that had to do with Ox being a Sacramento guy too.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
I can take that.
Yo, and to go back to the one question about somebody slowing down, you know who I forgot about? I forgot about Shaq. Remember, Shaq's fall off was quick. It was like Shaq on the Heat and then Suns. And the minute he got in that Suns uniform, it was like.
Well, he did make the All-NBA team, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't.
It just wasn't.
It just wasn't.
Quite,
it wasn't the same. It wasn't. And then he got on that Cleveland squad and looked kind of wow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And that Boston, I was like, stop.
Yeah, him and Rasheed were over there in Boston, barely getting up the court.
Yeah, that was good.
Angie Carr, start bench cut. 85 Jordan, 86 Jordan, 03 Jordan.
So 85 Jordan, 96 Jordan. So we're gonna start 96 Jordan.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna bench 85 Jordan and we're gonna cut 03 Jordan.
Hold on, chill. What if she would have said 88 Jordan? Are we having a different discussion?
96 Jordan. I mean, 88 Jordan was super duper athletic, but 96 Jordan was just so much more tactical. He saw the game different at that point. He wasn't the athlete that 88 Jordan was, right? And I'm pretty sure 96 Jordan will look at 88 Jordan like, kick that dude ass. And simply off knowledge, not because he was nicer than me or he was simply because I know the game more today than I did back then.
Y'all remember that commercial, right? When he was older playing himself, and then the college one came in, and he was like, "Man, get your young ass out there."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Christopher D, appreciate you becoming a new member today.
In effect, my man, no doubt.
This is okay. No, we trying to get through them.
No,
Ron,
we good.
Okay. Well, Ron, I'm teaching you how to get this done, Ron. We don't got.
Show me your ways.
I'm
trying to be a dub post. I'm trying my best.
Ice Dripper came back. Start bench cut all time. Chris Paul, Dame, Kyrie. Y'all have better. I don't want to disrespect nobody.
Well, we could cut Kyrie. I'm out on Irv. And the reason why I'm out on Irv is because these two dudes are leaders, and Irv is the model of instability. I can't build my unit around instability. My leader is unstable. My unit is unstable. So Irv is out. So I'm good on Irv. These two dudes, I'm building my unit around them, right? And Chris Paul, as good as Chris Paul was, Dame was that dude right from the door. He took every team to the playoffs that he was on in his prime, right? Chris Paul being elite on the defensive side of the basketball, that might be the separator as a player. Dame's got bigger moments. Dame was a better scorer. I think Chris Paul was a better distributor. I think he was a better defender. But Dame's got bigger moments. And not only does he have bigger moments, he was more durable. So I'm starting Dame. I'm cutting Chris Paul. I'm starting Dame and I'm benching Chris Paul.
What's up, Ron? How you got it?
My thing is kind of like when I look at these guys, and it's from two different lenses. When I look at these guys, I don't see them ever being the number one option. So as a number two option, I got to look at it from that lens. And I really think Dame would be the best number two option. But Kyrie got a ring as a number two option. So I got to start or bench them. And that's no knock to Chris Paul. Y'all might think I'm hating on Chris Paul. But I think those two as a number two option is just bad. And then,
Chat, who y'all got, Chat? So, Ron, you're cutting Chris Paul?
Yeah. And then even career-wise, though, it's like Kyrie got a ring, and Dame's career is just insane. Dame has had a career as a number one option of just going ballistic, even to this day. For the last 10 years, Dame's really been unstoppable.
Every team he was on I think after his rookie year, they was in the playoffs.
Yeah, Dub is gonna have a field day clipping that, Ron. Deshaun 916, appreciate you becoming a new member.
Come through. That's what we doing around here. We trying to bag as many as we possibly can.
Jason Newcomb, happy to see you.
Become members, no doubt.
Prince's point of view.
Thanks for the super chat, brother.
Appreciate that, Prince.
Thanks for the super chat, brother.
All right, this is the last one from my main man, Aramis Jones. AJ, does that change y'all's projection on the Pelicans because of the Zion injury? Ever since he went out, it's been tough. Love BI, but even though his averages are up, we still losing. Every shot is tough, and we have issues with 2-3 zone defense.
Zion gives you something different offensively. And with him on the floor, he changes the dynamic of your crew, right? So now y'all got to play different with Zion on the floor. So with Zion off the floor, so we could key on guys like BI. With Zion on the floor, CJ could play off the basketball, where he's the most effective. That's why he was what he was when he was up in Portland. When he was playing off the basketball, playing with Dame. Zion being ball dominant, these guys can play off of him. So now with Zion off the floor, I think it's something completely different. I had them, with him being healthy, I had them making some noise. I had them for real making some noise. But with him not being out there, once again, you can't replace 26, 27 a game that way and everything that he brings to the game. You can't replace that.
How you got it,
Aramis really, really loves the Pelicans. He really a die-hard New Orleans fan. Every other super chat is about New Orleans. So I just want to say, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you because if Zion was able to hold up, y'all would really be like one of the teams we be talking about right now. I'm actually disappointed too because they would really make the playoffs would really be a crapshoot if the Pelicans were in it and healthy.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, we got another one though. And this one, I'm not gonna say it's wild, but I'll let y'all figure it out. C.A. Broski. My top 10, man, the way disrespect gotta stop. 1, Bron. 2, Mike. 3, Shaq. 4, Kobe. 5, Hakeem. 6, Steph. 7, Wade. 9, Timmy D. And 10, Magic.
Giannis is a top 10 player all time. So what are you basing? Are you basing this on? Yeah, I could tell. No doubt about that. I think you basing this a lot on. Thanks for the super chat too, brother. I think you basing this a lot on just the individual player, which I can appreciate, but Dwayne Wade is not a top 10 player all time. No.
Yeah, I love D-Wade. Always have, but I don't know if I can get with that one.
Yeah. Steph and Giannis are not top 10 players all time. I don't think so.
Not on my list, at least. Well, this was a hell of a show, y'all. Chat, I like the way this one ran. Y'all really controlled the show, running the super chats in. I like that vibe. Now we get to tap into your minds, and y'all can pick Chill's brand. Ron, thanks for stopping through. Y'all will be here same time, same place next week. Ron, you got any final words? Anything you want to say to the people?
Hey, in the words of my man who always be coming through with the super chats, drink more water.
Ron was a W co-host today.
Yeah, no doubt.
W co-host for Ron today, no doubt.
Yeah,
man, it's easy to play the two to you. It's easy to play off ball and chill.
That's what I play. I play the two guard. That's my game. That's where I played at. So,
Chill. You got any last words? Want to leave the people with something?
Take it light, but take it.
Oh, we're not out of here yet, y'all.
Oh, we got one more.
Prince's point of view. LO was never an all-star, nor did he make the all-defensive team. She'll be wrong a lot.
Which is why I said if you look at Lamar Odom, he would be Ben Simmons, except a better offensive player. That's who he is.
He'd be an all-star today.
Yeah, definitely he would be.
Most certainly would.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for your thoughts, though, Prince's point of view. Tap in again next week.
You know where to find us at.
Same place, same time.
Later.
Love yourself. Yeah.